regardless of where your relationship is today with your father, or maybe it's more your mother, but right now I just want to talk specifically to the father-daughter relationship because that's what I know. You have to find it somewhere inside of you. We are responsible how we recover or how we continue on in our life and how we allow things to affect us. So what really helped me was when I started understanding myself more and I started getting more spiritual and learning about God and forgiveness and things like that. I started understanding that my dad came from a broken home himself. There was a lot of things in his household that he's seen that he brought on to us because maybe he didn't take the time. He was super young. He wasn't even at the stage where you're even contemplating your life before he made a family. With that comes you just bring in whatever you know and you keep it moving. And so when I was starting to heal from all this stuff and trying to not be so angry and so hateful and so mean towards my dad, and we had some time apart because he had moved away, it was like I had a realization of why things were the way that they were. And I really looked deeper into it. And when I started growing more compassion towards my dad's situation growing up, and I started understanding what somebody's been through, you can understand in turn why they are the way that they are. Because hurt people, period. And when we're hurt, we hurt people too. It was hard for me to think, well, that doesn't matter and he still hurt me and it doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, it really does, because we're responsible for our own recovery. So at the point that I was in my life, I had to just say, okay, I understand why he did those things. Maybe he approached it wrong. Maybe the moral and the value behind it was good, but maybe he came at the wrong approach. Maybe he said something or he acted it out in a certain way that really hurt me. It's something that I've just dealt with for a long time, and I go through the motions with it. Sometimes I'm still angry, and sometimes I'm okay, and sometimes I feel very forgiving and happy and, loving towards my dad and our relationship that's growing. But it's a recovery process. It's a process. I think we all just deal with certain things in life, and we just have to be more compassionate and forgiving towards the people who have hurt us, and just realize that maybe they didn't really want to hurt us. Maybe that was the only way they knew how. And we have to be the bigger person sometimes. Even as the child, we have to be the bigger person, and we have to dive deeper into the reasoning why. And once we have knowledge is power. So when I got that knowledge and I started understanding why my dad was the way that he was and how it affected me as a child, it made it more realistic for me to understand, instead of just saying, oh, I forgive you and move on. No, I had to know why I was forgiving. I had to understand why I was forgiving and why I was able to move on. And unfortunately, I have an older brother and a younger brother, and neither of them have come to the realization of trying to form that relationship with my father again. And everybody has their own issues, and men deal with things differently. But for me, it's very important that I learn these things, and that I can forgive, and I can teach my children to forgive, and that we can continue to move on. And with my daughter, I see it in my daughter. She's so forgiving and loving and kind, and it's almost like a blessing and a curse, because you see her being that way, and I hope she doesn't get taken advantage of, and I hope that her kind heart doesn't get her hurt in life. But at the same time, we can't control other people. We can only control ourselves, and we can only control our own healing. And I just wanted to say that when I decided to forgive my dad for everything, it was a freeing experience for me as a woman to move forward in my life. And it was ultimately the beginning of me healing from other relationships that I had been in that I believe have been directly affected by the father-daughter relationship that I have. Healing that relationship has helped me move forward and trying to heal myself from those other relationships, and also just to be a better woman in general, and to have more kindness in my heart, more forgiveness, more understanding, more knowledge. And I guess the last thing that I wanted to just say was that, you know, we can sit here and we can stay the same, and we can be angry for whatever we went through in our childhoods, but that is not going to do us any good. The only thing that it's going to do is make us angry and bitter and hateful and resentful, and we're going to think everybody is our dad. In the past, we're going to think that all men are the same, and that's how we become bitter women. So number one thing I would say would just be to kind of gain the knowledge, understand where your dad was in his life, understand the circumstances, understand maybe what he went through when he was younger. The second thing I would say would be to forgive your dad for everything that he did to you, no matter how bad it was, because forgiveness is for you, not for the other person. But forgiveness can also really, really help in making that amends together, and two people who are willing to form their relationship. Now, if your dad isn't willing to even speak to you or form that relationship, maybe he's still going through his own stuff. But my dad happened to be in a place where he was willing to accept, he was willing to take accountability, and he was willing to work on the father-daughter relationship that we have now. So I was very blessed and lucky to have that experience with him. And then the last thing is just don't get bitter, get better. Regardless of what happens, we are responsible for our own healing and for our own recovery. It sucks that kids have to recover from their childhood, but it's just the reality. So all you can do is try to be your best person, be your best woman, try to grow. It affects you, but it wasn't a personal thing. It was more so about what they went through, and they project things because hurt people. So you try not to be that hurt person who hurts people. You try to be a better person because of what you've been through. You try not to be bitter because of what you've been through. You try to forgive because you know that we all need forgiveness. Even you need forgiveness. So just to open your guys' minds and just try to understand that a broken father-daughter relationship can be mended. Any relationship can be mended if you have two people willing to work at it. But this just speaks more to the daughter who's having trouble with relationships, who's having trouble understanding why her dad was this way, why she never felt loved, why certain things happened, and just give you kind of an understanding and a little bit of knowledge of how you can heal yourself. I talk about them in a couple of my videos, but R.C. Blake's, he's really good. He talks the father-daughter talk. He talks about that, and he kind of, you know, schools women on maybe stuff that their dad never taught them when they were younger, especially about men and relationships and stuff like that. And it really has helped me just to gain some more knowledge and maybe things that I didn't know. His philosophy is the talk that every father should have had with his daughter, which I didn't really get. So I hope that you guys got something from this video. I hope that you will choose to heal, because it is a choice. And I hope you guys have a great day. Leave a comment down below if you like these kind of videos, and I'll try to do some more just off the top of my head. This video was just off the top of my head, guys, so anything you guys want me to talk about, I'll rant. So I'll talk to you guys on the next one. Bye.